quick shop tip for you. If you need to do the wheel bearings in your motorcycle wheel, I found out years ago that if you have a tire machine, you have the perfect tool for this job. What you're going to need is 2 pieces of 2x6. You just put them between the jaws like that. Take your wheel with the tire on it and clamp it down. It's not doing any damage. This thing's not going anywhere. You can work on the right side, you can work on the left side. If you want to do everything on the right side, you just spin it around and you can do everything from one side. I hope that helps everybody. Now we're going to put this into a practical use. Stay tuned. Okay, wheel bearings. I think we talked about this before. I think the tire machine is the perfect tool for this job. You need a couple of pieces of 2x6. You can plant them right between those jaws and then grab your wheel. Oh, that'll stay there. There you go. Grab your wheel, pop it right up in there, and clamp it down. It's absolutely perfect. It's not going to go anywhere, and you can move it any way you want. So let's set up and get this wheel bearing out of here. Okay, you're going to need special tools to take the wheel bearings out. Here's a diagram of what you need, and this is the removal. You have to figure out which one of these fits in the wheel bearing. You've got a piece that goes inside that wedges up against it, and this goes around the other side, and then nuts and washers and stuff. And that's to pull it out. So I've already figured out which ones I'm going to need, which pieces I'm going to need, and this is what you need for removal and installation. Now, this piece goes inside here. But you can't tighten that down just yet. You're going to tighten that down, and that's how it's going to pull it out. This goes into here, and this expands on the inside of the wheel bearing. So let me see if I can give you a little example of that. Hang on. Okay, we've got a lot of things going on here. But like I said, you have to find the correct piece that's going to go in the wheel bearing. I have a new wheel bearing here so that I can show you how this goes in. Now you'll have to push it in when it's in the wheel right into that hole, and you can see that it clips in a little bit on this back side. Okay, the next piece is this, and what this does is when you tighten this down to 100 inch-pounds, no more, it's going to spread these jaws a little bit and clamp outward onto that wheel bearing, and it's going to help you remove it. Okay. The next thing that's going to have to go on is this piece, and that is to go up against the brake rotor or the wheel, and that's how that's going to actually pull that out. Then you have a brass washer that goes on there. You're going to have this large nut that goes on here. I mean, there's a lot of pieces to this, but it works really well. Okay, then you'll need this other washer and another nut. So you're going to reach in from the other side and 3/8 drive from that and be able to tighten this nut down. That's what gets to 100 inch-pounds. You don't really need any more than that. As a matter of fact, if you do, you could hamper the removal a little bit. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Other than that, just put a little bit of oil on these threads so everything moves correctly, and you shouldn't have a problem. Well, let me take this back apart, and we'll see if we can't get that done. Hang on. Okay, first things first. We're going to put this into the wheel bearing. Clips right in there. Next, we're going to put this piece on. And that goes right up against that brake rotor. We're going to put this brass washer on. And we're actually going to put a little oil on this. Hang on a second. Yeah, we're going to put a little bit of oil on that. Get those threads lubricated. It doesn't have to be too much. There we go. Now this piece I'm going to put in from the other side. I'm going to grab my tool here. There we go. So I'm going to put this on here and put this through the other side and right out that hole. There we go. And we're going to put this washer on. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on this as well, just so it's lubed up. And we're going to tighten this down hand tight, and then we'll get a wrench here. Let's see, I believe it's 11/16, and it is. And a torque wrench, very important, very important. So what we're looking for is 100 inch-pounds. Let's see here. This thing's pretty nice. Digital, it's pretty nice. So you're going to want to get this from the back side. I guess you could use the torque wrench from the front side too, but that's it. That's all you need. Now, we can either hold that from the back side or we can hold that here. I'm going to hold it from the back side. There is a slot here, but this makes it easier, I think, by having it from the back, because your hand's out of the way. All you do is tighten that up, and this is an 1 1/8. Now you can use a adjustable wrench or whatever you have. Now that first initial turn, I mean, you heard it maybe you heard a little snap there. That's the bearing letting go, but it's moving smoothly now. If it's not, you can heat it up a little bit, but you can't go too far. You just have to be careful. You don't want to damage the rim in any way. So let's take my time. Let the tool do the work. And you'll see that it's gonna pull it right out. If I had another camera, I'd give you another shot of this, but I don't. Maybe I can set it up a little bit different for the other side. Okay, you can see where I had that through the other side, and it went right in the end of that. We'll take that out now, and there's your bearing. Okay, so we're going to have to take this whole assembly apart. Let's see here. We'll loosen that up. We'll take this whole assembly apart, and then we'll get ready to install our bearing. Now you want to make sure that it's clean inside here. Make sure your spacer's in good. And we're going to put a little bit of anti-seize lubricant in there for the install. apart. And when you take this out, you just push it right through. There's your old wheel bearing. Well, let's see if we can get that in. Hang on. Okay, now putting the wheel bearing in is a little bit different process. You need a couple of different things. This piece here goes inside the bearing. This is what's going to draw it in. And you want the numbers facing out. If there's numbers on it, face them out. This is going to be on the back side, and that's going to come through the front like so. Like that. Okay? Now we're going to put a little never sees in here first, actually. You don't have to go completely crazy with this stuff. You know how it's going to get everywhere anyway. So we'll put a little bit in here. That way we don't have an issue in taking that bearing out ever again. And it'll slide in really nice. So we've got that there. We're going our bearing with our numbers out. That goes on there. That goes in. Okay. We're going to set it up there for now, and then grab the washers, and the brush washer goes on first. There's another washer that goes on. I'm going to lube up these threads a little bit. It's been a while since I used that. And then this is where we spin this nut all the way in. Please stand by. Okay, now you want to make sure that this is started in, as straight as you can. And now it's gonna self-correct itself. Self-correct itself? It's going to correct itself as it goes in, or it should. If it's not, then you need to move some things around and figure out why it's not. But it really needs to be centered in there. Now I've got 2 3/4-inch wrenches. One's on the back side, and this one, you just turn it, and you can see that that bearing is going right in. It's going in really nicely. Now you want to put it in there, snug. You don't want to go nutty, but just go snug, because you don't want to push it out the other side or anything. There you go. And then that's installed. Now we thread this all the way back out. There. Now the spacer is in there, and the other wheel bearings on the other side. This is exactly where it was before. So we'll prep the other side, and we'll get that one done too. Hang on. I'm going to spin this right around so we can get to the other side. See how nice that is? It works really, really well. Okay. That's in there for sure. Well, let's gather our things. We had before. Remember, this thing goes in first. Perfect. I'm going to put this in from the back side. Let me get my tool here. I don't have to put this in just yet, because I can put this over it. Brass washer. We've already lubed that up a little bit, and I'm sure it's got some oil still on it. And we're going to put this bolt in from the opposite side. Washer and nut. We'll grab our torque wrench and our other wrench. This should still be set here. and 100. Okay. One second. And you can use the torque wrench on either side. Doesn't really matter. That's it. Okay. Set that down. And I'm going to grab that ratchet back. Well, here, I'm going to show you that you can do this all from the front side too. Here, hang on a second. Let's see here. 5/8 wrench and my 1 1/8. So you can do this all from this side if you hold this other portion here. But I prefer to do it the other way because this hand isn't in the way. But it is possible. That one let loose pretty good. It's coming out nicely. With each turn, it just pulls it out just a little bit more. The right tools make the job a lot easier, for sure. Now, this particular tool set is from V-Twin, I believe. They have other ones on Amazon and such, but they're not as good a quality and they might not work that well. The steel seems to be a little inferior on some of them, so pay attention to that. Now we'll just take this all apart again, and we won't need this anymore. But let me gather the other things and we'll put that one in. Hang on. Okay, I've got the other things ready to go. Now this is the ABS wheel bearing, and they go in this little ridge right here. That goes in first. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's about 1/8 of an inch in this base. This goes in to the wheel. So make sure that you do that properly, or it's not going to work. So, and that would be bad. We'll put a little bit of this Never Sees in there. That's quite a bit, actually. Okay, flat washer from the other side. All right. Right out the other side. Here, we move this back a little bit. We've got our wheel bearing with the right side facing in. It slides right on top of that. That's going to center it. We'll just kind of get that little push right there for a second. You've got your thrust washer. You have the other washer and the nut. And then spin it all the way in. As you can see, I'm not using power tools. Please stand by. Okay. Again, make sure everything's centered, and as much as you can. And like I said, it's going to do some self-centering on its own once it goes in that. And if it's too much and you're having to use too much power to turn that in, then I suggest you reset and try again. As you can see, it's not that difficult to go in. I'll just snug that down just a little bit, and that's done. Okay. Now that's done. We'll clean up the wheel a little bit there, or the brake rotor, and some of that never sees off of there. And this wheel's ready to go back on. Okay, well there's the process. You need the right tools and a little bit of patience, but it's completely doable. I hope that helps somebody out. I hope everybody's having a great day, and as always, ride your bike.